How do you think it went tonight?
That was great. I thought it was a great show.
Really?
Yeah, it was really good. It kind of had a little bit of everything. It was entertaining. It was funny. It was touching and sad at parts and emotional, but it was a little bit of everything. Yeah, I mean, I was joking at the end about like, does anybody have anything bad to say about Becca? Even the guys that left brokenhearted had a good experience and took something away from it, that is very rare. It's always interesting to go through this with different people and their just different journey, and it's very different for all of them. And it's this was a not odd, because that's a bad thing to say because it was so positive, but it was just very different.
It was so positive, incredibly positive. Actually, several of the men, basically felt badly about the way they behaved. I've never seen so many men come forward and say, I owe you an apology.
Very contrite. Yeah,
right.
The men were very contrite. And, look, I always say if you come out of this and you haven't learned something about yourself, we all have this idea of who we are and how cool we think we are. And then when you watch the show back, you're like, ooh, wow. Like that, it's very rare you get to actually watch yourself fall in love or go through relationships. And it's a very odd thing to go back and, and dissect yourself like it's a football game. And so the good news is these men seem to have learned, what they did wrong. And whether it was, Chris or even Jordan and Colton, and all of them had a little something to say about how they acted and how they would have done things differently. And that's, if say nothing else, that's positive. And John Blanc was another one who was very contrite.
Right. And you've been doing the show for a long time. Is that the first gospel apology you've ever seen?
That is easily the first gospel. I always say you've seen it all, but no, that's the first gospel apology that we've ever had. But it was a good touch. I liked it. It was a really good.
That Chris pulled that together. He must have like a.
Yeah, it's amazing. He has that choir on speed dial apparently. Yeah,
background.
he's got pull. Although this time he could only call 4 of them. Apparently his budget is down.
Yeah, you can't do a whole
the choir budget.
And Jason, of course, that was he's remarkably sort of articulate and in touch with his. I mean, I thought he really acquitted himself well. What did you think of that moment between them and the sort of closure? Do you think he found some closure?
There are certain moments when you're hosting where the best thing you can do is not talk. And that was one of those moments. That was gutting. It was gutting. And he was crying in the middle of that, watching his package back. And so there was nothing really to say. I was just wanted him to express what he was feeling. And what was it about that, watching that, made him feel that. There's just certain times when you could just feel it. You could cut it with a knife. And it was tough to watch, and it was tough to be there. He's a very genuine, kind of Renaissance man who's really in touch with his emotions. But he's a really good guy.
And I thought also Colton was, really had to deal with something very difficult. And, were you surprised to see how difficult that whole, scenario was for him?
The surprise with Colton tonight was how sincere and genuine he was. I thought it would have been easy for him to be jokey and cavalier about it and just try and gloss over it and move past it, because it's a difficult thing, and it's, as he said, it's awkward for a guy to stand up and say, hey, I'm the virgin. And so I really had a tremendous amount of respect for him tonight, and gained a lot more respect and insight into him. That's why I love what I do. It's just talking to these people and trying to dig a little deeper. And he let us all in, which is it was a very scary thing for him, as you could tell. It was emotional, and I mean, it's hard for an athlete to get up and cry and talk about being a virgin. I mean, it's awkward. And he just said to me after we got done taping, it's a tough thing to talk about. And so I have a lot of respect for him. I think everybody does too.
Right. Lastly, can you tease the finale for us? Tell us, what are we in for?
Well, we just, you just saw, it comes down to Blake and Garrett, 2 men that Becca's in love with. And as crazy as it was that Ari told 2 women that he loved him, Becca's basically fallen into the same issue of, I'm in love with 2 men. There are 2 guys that have my heart. I could see my life with both of them. How do I make this impossible decision? And what you will see take place in the Maldives is gut-wrenching. It is absolutely gut-wrenching. And it is easily one of the most emotional finales you'll ever watch.
Do you think she picked the right one in the end?
I think she's happy. I do. I think she's really happy. But that's not to say that she was not brought to her knees in getting there.
Well, thank you, Chris.
Want more extra? Hit the subscribe button and the bell. Never miss a video.